Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Gerald here with your weather forecast. So we're all having a great Tuesday out there as we all get ready for kind of this pattern change on the way. So for many of us, today's going to be the last kind of cold day out there, at least for March standards, especially in the mornings. I know it's been crazy cold for a lot of us here in the East. I think going forward, really starting tomorrow, but especially Thursday and Friday, we have much nicer springtime weather in store. So that's going to be the big focus in today's video. We are also going to talk about a lot of rain on the way, as well as some severe storms and maybe even some snow for some of us out there. So, just kind of a very active March pattern this week. And, of course, I'll try to break that down for you as well as I can in today's video. So, I guess let's go ahead and get right into it. So we'll start off with radar like we normally do here, and as we talked about yesterday, we do have some showers here over the kind of middle part of the country from St. Louis down towards Memphis and Little Rock, and even back towards the Cape Girardeau and Paducah, Kentucky area. So this kind of blob of storms here, and sorry, let me not swing the map around like that, but this blob of kind of showers and storms here is going to overnight kind of fizzle out, but continue to move east and southeast, and with that, we could have some showers further to the east tomorrow, but definitely some cloudy weather, and of course, we will discuss that here in a moment. Other than that, you can see back out west into California, we have another very impressive low pressure system moving ashore, and this is what will likely cause some severe weather later this week from sections of the south central plains and even over into the Dixie Alley area come Friday. So I'll also show you those maps here in a minute or so. Looking at satellite out there again, that cloudy weather here over kind of the central part of the country where we have those showers, and again I do expect that to move further east overnight and into tomorrow, and I'll show you kind of where we can expect some of that rain tomorrow as well here in just a moment. But then again, of course, you can also still see this big old storm back out west as we just got done talking about there on the radar. So looking at the hazards right now, pretty quiet. We do have some winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings up into sections of Minnesota and the Dakotas, and I'll show you the snow map for those places as well, where we could see, a pretty good hefty amount of snow for some of us there. But other than that, most of these hazards are still back out west where that storm is still unfolding, but a lot of these hazards will continue to move east as we get further into the week. So looking at temperatures tonight, again, much nicer. You can see that freezing line yesterday was kind of all the way down here into the Carolinas. Tonight, it is retreating all the way back up here into the northeast and up into the high plains. So a much more March-like night for many of us in store here throughout much of the south and really just much of the lower 48 in general. And then going into tomorrow, again, another really nice day where we rebound. We will have a pretty sharp boundary here into kind of this circled area just because of where those clouds and all will unfold. But areas to the south can get well into the 70s tomorrow and even 80s down here to the Florida Peninsula and back into Texas. But again, we'll watch where this kind of boundary sets up and where we'll have those clouds and showers tomorrow. So going ahead and talking about that a little more in depth here. Again, right now we have a whole bunch of rain and snow back out west, but we do have this area of showers here in the middle part of the country. And as you can see, as we move this ahead into tonight and getting into about sunrise tomorrow morning, that area of showers begins to kind of set up shop here around Nashville, Huntsville, and then eventually going through the day tomorrow, moves through the Knoxville area, Asheville, and eventually even to places like Charlotte by the time we get later into tomorrow afternoon. So I do expect kind of cloudy and drizzly weather for a lot of us tomorrow afternoon here into the Carolinas and Tennessee, where this boundary will set up. So expect cooler temperatures here, although definitely warmer, nicer, clearer skies further to the south of there. Then as we continue going through tomorrow and into tomorrow night, luckily that area of showers begins to dissipate, and most of the storms that we have left, or really just showers I should say, and heavy rainfall by the time we get into tomorrow night will be set up here along the Great Lakes. So areas to the south have much more spring-like weather, while areas here along the Great Lakes have more kind of rainy weather come kind of Thursday, and that will last through much of Thursday afternoon before getting into Thursday evening. We get into those severe weather chances back out here into the southern plains with rainfall, although not severe, still heavy rainfall along the Ohio River Valley as well Thursday. Then as we go into Friday, that rain continues through the Ohio River Valley with a chance of some flooding, but we then get another burst of severe weather likely during the day Friday here into sections of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi, I think being the real kind of hot spots come Friday for that severe weather. And then as we go into Friday night, we just really have a whole lot of rain here to the north through the Ohio River Valley, and then some severe weather still hanging on here south of there where that low pressure is still helping to enhance some of those storms along the Gulf Coast. Then as we get into overnight Friday, expect a line of storms to move through the Atlanta area, GSP, Asheville, Charlotte, Columbia, seeing those storms overnight Friday and into Saturday morning. Before Saturday afternoon, we clear out for much of the south, although we then continue with that unsettled weather up into the northeast and into the Great Lakes, but we'll save that discussion for a little bit later on in the week as we get a little closer to the weekend. So going a little more in-depth here, starting with that severe weather threat on Thursday rather. Thursday, it looks like, sorry about that. Looks like that main threat on Thursday will be here from the Dallas-Fort Worth area and into Oklahoma City. Sorry, having trouble talking here. Anyway. Sorry, I think I'm good now. So, severe storms Thursday. That's what we're talking about here. The hotspot here does look to be around Dallas-Fort Worth and into the Oklahoma City area. And this really could be anywhere from strong straight line winds to large hail and even a couple tornadoes possible with this system. And that threat will then shift further east come Friday. And I think Friday will really be the peak of this thing. So I think the worst of these storms will come Friday from areas through much of Louisiana back towards Jackson, Mississippi, and up through Memphis. I think really being the hot spot on Friday where we could see, damaging tornadoes, a lot of straight line winds, as well as hail. But I think Friday will be more of a tornado day than Thursday to watch out for here across areas of the Deep South. So, much like we normally do during these severe weather threats, I like to show you the supercell composite, and this kind of just shows where we will have those ingredients for supercells. So, moving this ahead in time, going into Thursday afternoon, you can see we have that flare up here around Texas, and nothing off the chart here, but definitely enough that the Storm Prediction Center has definitely issued that risk for Thursday. But as you can see, once we really get into Friday, we get more of a flare up of those ingredients here, through Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi. So I think, again, Friday will definitely be the more impactful day in terms of severe weather before those ingredients kind of move on out by the time we get into Friday night and Saturday. So moving this over to the southeast, you can see we, pretty are all quiet here until we get into Friday, as we talked about, getting that kind of burst back there towards Louisiana. But as we move this further ahead into time, into overnight Friday and into Saturday, we're going to want to watch right along the Gulf Coast where we hold on to some of that instability. We could have some overnight severe storms Friday and even into Saturday morning before Saturday afternoon. We could see maybe one last little flare-up of severe weather here along coastal Georgia and South Carolina, but nothing off the chart right now. Moving this ahead, looking at those rainfall totals, again, we could have some flooding issues out of this week, especially along the Ohio River Valley, where I wouldn't be surprised to see some flash flood watches go up within the next couple of days for the potential of some of that flooding. And that really goes all the way down here into the Deep South as well. But once we get into the Carolinas, it looks to be a bit more dry, as we kind of don't have to deal with as much of those continual rounds of rain as this kind of storm system or systems move through. And then talking about that snow for the next couple of days up here into the northern Great Plains, I think the best shot of that will be up here into northern Minnesota and into western North Dakota, eastern North Dakota rather, where we could see 1/2 foot to 8 inches of snow through a pretty widespread area, and that's why we have those winter storm warnings through there. But through much of South Dakota, 3 to 5 inches or 1 to 3 inches, and that kind of ballpark looks pretty likely over the next couple of days. The other big story, though, of course, are those temperatures. So as you can see, moving ahead, that red really works back into the forecast, and we get much more spring-like weather through the kind of second half of this week, and that looks to hold on for a while, although I wouldn't count winter completely out, as we could see rounds of that colder weather as depicted here going into maybe next week. But I really think from Thursday through this weekend looks much nicer and much more spring-like for just about everyone here throughout the southeast. So with all that said, again, just to summarize, we do have some severe weather on the way, a lot of rain on the way, and a little bit of snow. But the one thing I'm excited about is definitely those springtime temperatures come going into the second half of this work week. So with all that said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.